So today we're looking at box plots, and this is coming from the packet that the district gave you. So this is a mini lesson to help you with the packet that you got from the district. You know where to find it. Go to the district website. So box plots, which is a step forward from dot plots. Now, this is how a box plot will always be represented with the figure you see. The words we have at the end, the words minimum and maximum represent the smallest value in your data and the largest or greatest value in your data. Again, minimum is for the smallest value, maximum is for the largest or the greatest value. And then you have the median, which is a fancy math word for the word middle. So the median just means the data that's in is right in the middle of your information of whatever amount of data you have. Whatever is in the middle, the number that's in the middle, that is your median. And you have an upper quartile and you have a lower quartile. Now, a box plot can be divided into four different parts, and each part is called a quartile. So, each quartile will hold 25%. Again, each quartile will hold 25% of your data. And if you're not sure why it holds 25, just think of the word quartile, which means quarter. A quarter is 25 cents, 0.25, and 0.25, which is the decimal in percent form, is 25%. So the lower quartile, this first part, as you can see right here, it's called the lower quartile, and it holds the first 25. And then the first half of the box holds the second 25. And then you have your median, which is the midpoint. And that kind of makes sense, right? Because we have a first 25%, and then we have another 25%. What's 25% plus 25%? That's 50%. And we know 50% means half of something in the middle. So after the first 50%, what comes? Your median, which is the middle. And then you have another 25%, and you have the last 25%. And when you add up all four 25%, what should you get? 100%, which is your whole. Now, let me talk a little bit about this box that you see here in the middle. This box is called the interquartile range. Now, what does that mean? That means interquartile range means the group of data that is right in the middle. That's all it means. Means the data that lies in the middle. All the data that lies in the middle is called your interquartile range. So an example I have here, you see, is the $5 and the $80. Let's say we spoke to 100 people, right? And we asked them, how much money do you have in your pocket? And the most that anybody had in their pocket was $80, and the least amount that anybody had in their pocket was $5. So 8 being the maximum and 5 being the minimum, that means we have our maximum and minimum value, which also means we can now find the range of our data. And how do we find the range of our data? It is simple and straightforward. You take the minimum value and you subtract from the maximum value. You take the minimum value and you subtract from the maximum value, which will be 80 minus 5, which should give you what? 75. That is when you are looking for the range. 80 minus 5 will give you 75. Excuse me. Now, box plots. What's the difference between box plots and dot plots? With a box plot, you cannot find the mode or the mean, also called the average. But with the dot plot, you can. So I'll show you a picture of what a dot plot looks like, and we're going to use the dot plot to come up with a box plot. But just so you know, just to be clear, a box plot you cannot find the mode and the mean or the average, whereas for a dot plot you can find the mode and the mean. So we're going to use an example, still talking about people who and how much money they had in their pocket, okay? So let's say Mr. Nkwanyang surveyed 21 people, right? Spoke to 21 people. And I asked them how much money they have in their wallet. And I gathered all this information, and I used a dot plot to represent my information. So let's look at the dot plot I used. We're going to have our number line. There you go. We're going to number it. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. So this is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, and 10. Now, after talking to 21 people, this numbers you see, they're representing the dollar amount, represents how much money they had in their pocket or in their wallets. So one person said all they had was $8. Now 2 people said they had $2 in their wallet. 3 people said they had $3 in their wallet. 1 person said they had $4. And how many do we have so far? Oh, sorry. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10. 6 people, no, 4 people said they had $6 in their wallet. So that's 1, 2, 3, 4. 2 people said they had $7 in their wallet. That's 1 and that's 2. What are we up to? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8, 9, 10, 11, 12, 13, 14, 15, 16. So that's 16 people. 5 more people to go. 2 people said they had $8. 2 said they had $9. And 1 person said they had $10. So by now, you should know that the dots represent the number of people and the numbers represent the dollar amount. So, meaning 1 person said they had $1 in their pocket. 3 people said they had $5 in their pocket. And only 1 person said they had up to $10 in their pocket or in their wallet. So now let's represent. We're going to take this information. This is a dot plot. We're going to represent this dot plot into a box plot. So this is going to be our line for our box plot. Remember, looking at this example, the minimum value should be on this side, and what should be the maximum value on that side. So we know that the minimum value, which is the smallest amount of money or the lowest amount that whoever had in their pocket, was $1. So I know my minimum value, which is 1, is going to go right there. And then I know my maximum value, which is the largest amount of money anybody had in their wallet, is 10. That is going to go on the other side of the number line. So now what do we need? We need our median. We need to know what the midpoint of our information is. Before we can get that information, we need to arrange these numbers from least to greatest. So this is how we're going to do it. Let's look at one. How many people had just $1 in their pocket? Just one person. So that's 1. How many people had $2? 2 people. So that's 1, 2. How many had $3? 3 people. 1, 2, 3. How many had 4? Just 1. So just 1, 4. How many had 5? 3. So 1, 2, 3. How many had 6? 4 people. 1, 2, 3, 4. How many had 7? 2. 1, 2. 8 is 2. 1, 2. 9 is 2. 1, 2. And 10, just 1. So write down 10 just one time. So now we have all these numbers written out from least to greatest. Remember, it always has to be from least to greatest. If it's not from least to greatest, your data, your answers will not be accurate. It always has to be in order. So now you want to know what your median is. That means you want to find which of these 21 numbers lies in the very middle. This is how you do that. I'm going to use a different marker so you see what's going on. First, you need to start crossing out all the numbers from the edges, and you cross out and you move in inwards. I know you saw this in 6th grade, but that's okay. If you forgot, just pay attention. So we're going to cross out this and this, this and this, this and this, this and that, 3 and 8, 3 and 7, 4 and 7, 5 and 6, 5 and 6, 5 and 6. And what am I left with? I'm left with 6. I couldn't cross out 6. Why didn't I cross out this 6? Because there is no other number for me to cross it out with. So once you're done crossing out, remember it has to match, right? Whatever happens to the left side should happen to the right side. I did not cross out this 6 because it was the only number left. So that told me that this number 6 is the midpoint of my data or data. So I'm going to do 6. I know 6 is my what? 6 is my median. Okay? 6 is the median. Now, what else do I need to know? I know this is my minimum. What's the minimum? Your minimum is 1. What's your maximum? Your maximum value is 10. What about the range? What is the range? We talked about range in the example, right? And how do we find the range? Your range is you subtract the maximum from the minimum. So this is your range. Your range is 10 minus 1, which should give you what? 9. 9 is your range. Sorry, I forgot to write down. And what is the median? The median is 6. Now, this first 4 things I expect that it should be easy, right? Well, the more practice you do, the more you're going to get it, as with everything else in this life. Okay? So, are we done? No, we're not. We need to know what the lower quartile is, what the upper quartile is, and we also need to know what the interquartile range is. Now, how do we find our lower quartile? So, we're going to start with the lower quartile. I'm going to write down lower Q. Or let me write the whole thing out. Lower quartile. How do we find out what the lower quartile is? The same thing we did to find the median is going to be the same thing we do to find our lower quartile and our upper quartile. So now we're going to cross out the numbers again. But then we're going to cross out only, remember, what word did I say? Lower. So that means the bottom part of our data. Not the upper part, the bottom part, the lesser values, lower. So remember, the median means the midpoint. So that means 50% of our information, of our data lies on this side of 6. Remember, again, this is the median. This is 25 and 25, so that's 50% is lying on this side. So we need to know what the midpoint is. We want to know what this point is, this lower quartile. We want to know what it is with these numbers. So this is how you do it. You cross out. So we're going to cross out 1. There you go. Cross that out. Cross it out. Cross that out and cross that out. Cross this out and cross this out. What two numbers am I left with? Can I cross out this 3 and 3? No, right? Because if I cross out this 3 and I cross out that 3, I don't have any numbers left. So I am stuck with 2 numbers in the middle. Common sense, what number is in between 3 and 3? It's just 3, right? There is no number in between 3 and 3. So another way to explain it, in the case where it's 2 different numbers, this is what you should do. Take the 2 numbers that are in the middle, which is these 2 numbers, 3 and 3, and you will add them together. So you're going to say 3 plus 3, which gives you what? 6. And then 6 divided by, since it is 2 numbers, you say 6 divided by 2, which will take you back to what? To 3. And that is your lower quartile. And you do the same for your upper quartile. So for your upper quartile, so I'm just going to put right here my lower quartile on the number line. I know it should be 3. And then my upper quartile, what should it be? You do the same thing. We're going to cross out this and this, this and this, this and this, this and this. And see, now what am I left with? I'm left with 7 and 8 in the middle. And again, common sense, what number is in between 7 and 8? Should be 7.5. That's the number that's right in the middle, 7.5. Or what you can do is say 7 plus 8, which gives us what? 15. And then you say 15 divided by 2 should give you 7.5. So I know 7.5 is my upper quartile. Did that make sense? I hope it did. Now, now our box plot is coming together. So all we have to do now is this. There it is, right? And then we have the line. And then we have the line. I'm sorry, this dot was supposed to extend all the way to the 10 because that makes the maximum value, okay? This dot, this is for the minimum, and that is for the maximum. Only one dot all the way to the 10 for the minimum, for the maximum. I know, it looks crazy. And this 6 is your median. So 3 is your lower quartile. 7.5 is your upper quartile. 1 is the minimum value. 10 is the maximum value. So let's go and label that again for those of you who are probably going to forget. So this is minimum, that is maximum, okay? This is your median, which is 6. Hope you can see. 3 is your lower, and 7.5 is your upper. Pretty easy, right? Now we have one last thing, which they can also ask you to look for. What is the interquartile range? Interquartile range. What is the interquartile range of this data? Now, looking at the short or quick notes I gave you here, interquartile range is the midpoint of your data. The midpoint of your data. How do I know what this interquartile range is? Now, think about it. If the range of the whole thing had me subtracting the minimum value from the maximum value, which was 10 minus 1, which is 9, what do you think the interquartile, what do you think the interquartile range will want you to do? Or how do you think they expect you to solve it, right? If you should take some tips of solving the regular range, that would simply mean you're using these two numbers, the interquartile range. A range, remember, is wherever it starts to wherever it ends. This is the whole interquartile section. This is where it starts and this is where it ends. So all you're simply doing is taking the upper quartile number, which is 7.5, and subtract the lower quartile number, which is 3. 7.5 minus 3, which should give us what? That should give us 4.5. Your interquartile range is 4.5. So that was a mini lesson on box plots. Key things you need to know: how to find the range, which is just subtracting the minimum value from the maximum value. What other thing do you need to know? Your median. How do you solve for the median? You need to arrange all your data, all your numbers, all your information, all your numerical data, numerical information from least to greatest in that order. If you mess it up one time, and then all of this is going to be wrong. If you don't have this arranged from least to greatest, which I believe you know how to do, because I believe and I trust you guys, all of this is going to be wrong. So after you arrange that, And then your median is pretty much clear and obvious. You count your way down into the middle, one from each side, striking out each one. One, one, bam, 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 till you come to that number, that lone number, that single lonely number that's in the middle. Now, what if it's two numbers in the middle? That's the example you saw with the upper and the lower quartile. We had two numbers in the middle, so what did we do? We added both of them and divided by what? By 2. Or if you can use your common sense and figure out what number lies right in the middle of those two numbers you have, that is great. But in case, in the situation where common sense is not working for you, please just add both numbers and divide by 2. And that's a mini lesson on box plots. I'm going to have another link, an add puzzle. Watch that video. It's all going to be on Google Classroom. Watch the video, practice. Remember that you are required to watch this video by 11:30 a.m. tomorrow. The Zoom meeting will start at 11:30 a.m. and that will be for me to explain every single thing you didn't understand. I will also call on people to answer questions during our meeting. So please go ahead, watch the video over and over again. Remember how you always say, Mister, I don't get it after I explained it. Please, if you watch it the first time you don't understand, click on it, watch it again. Next time, watch it slowly and take notes. Okay? Looking forward to seeing you guys tomorrow at 11:30 a.m. Thank you.